Hello, dear audience. I think I'm not late. But wait, I just noticed something shocking. I still only have one subscriber. If you are that one subscriber, then lean back, relax, because tonight's story is especially for you. It is the story of a millionaire, a daughter believed to be blind, and the one maid who uncovered a truth that would shatter their world. Stay with me, because nothing here is what it first appears. The setting was an enormous mansion, perched high above the city, where lights glittered like stars against the dark. Inside lived Richard Halden, a real estate tycoon, a man who had everything: money, power, connections. But behind his wealth, he carried a heavy burden. His only daughter, Clara, had been blind since childhood. To him, she was fragile, a delicate flower who needed protecting, and so he sheltered her. Tutors came to the house, friends were carefully chosen, every hallway was padded with safety measures, every servant was trained to guide her. Richard's world revolved around his daughter's darkness. But here's the first twist. The one person who saw Clara most closely was not her father. It was Maria, the housemaid. She was quiet, unnoticed, and invisible in the household. Yet Maria noticed things no one else did. It began subtly. Clara would reach for a glass of water without hesitation, her hand landing perfectly on the handle. She'd step into the sunlight and blink, just for a second, as if her eyes had registered the glare. To most, these moments seemed trivial, but to Maria, they were sparks of suspicion. Still, she said nothing. After all, who would believe a maid's intuition over the word of doctors, specialists, and a father with endless resources? The story darkened when Richard prepared to announce Clara's trust fund, a fortune that would pass to her on her 21st birthday. Rumors swirled among staff. Was Clara's blindness the reason Richard guarded her so fiercely? Or was there more beneath the polished floors of that mansion? Maria's doubts grew. One evening, while setting the dining table, she dropped a silver fork. Instantly, Clara's head turned, eyes following the sound, not the direction she'd been told to face. It was instinctive. Maria froze. Had Clara just tracked the falling fork with her eyes? Maria's heart pounded. She bent down slowly, picking up the fork, pretending nothing happened. But in that moment, she knew. Something was terribly wrong with the story everyone believed. Days later, the maid tested her suspicion again. She placed a vase slightly off balance on Clara's nightstand. When Maria left the room, she peeked through the door. Clara reached out, steadied the vase, and placed it perfectly upright. That was no coincidence. Clara could see. But why then had her father raised her and convinced the world that she was blind? Was it control? Was it protection? Or something darker, like money and inheritance? Maria struggled. Should she confront Clara? Tell Richard? Or stay silent, knowing her job and maybe her safety could vanish in a moment? Finally, she chose the path of truth. One quiet morning, as the garden filled with birdsong, Maria approached Clara directly. "Miss Clara, forgive me for asking, but why do you pretend to be blind?" Silence. A silence so sharp it cut the air. Then Clara's lips trembled, and she whispered, "Because my father doesn't want me to see." The revelation struck like lightning. Clara admitted that as a child she had weak vision, but she was never fully blind. With treatment, her sight had improved. Yet Richard, her own father, told her the world believed she was blind. He insisted she continue the act. He said it was safer. But Clara suspected something else: her father's empire, the trust fund, and the sympathy that kept his reputation untouchable. The millionaire had built not just a fortune, but a lie
a lie that caged his daughter in shadows she didn't need to live in. And now Maria was the only witness. What should she do? Expose him? Risk everything? Or protect Clara's secret, knowing the truth could destroy a powerful man's life? The choice hung in the balance like a chandelier swaying in a silent hall. Imagine, dear audience, the weight of that knowledge. To carry truth in a house built on deception. To see light where everyone else insists on darkness. Maria realized this was bigger than her. It was about Clara's freedom, her right to live as she truly was. And so, with quiet courage, she documented what she had seen. She wrote every detail, the fork, the vase, the subtle turns of Clara's eyes. She kept notes, not for gossip, but for justice. Because sometimes the truth needs more than whispers. It needs evidence. What happened next is still debated in hushed tones. Some say Maria leaked the truth to reporters, a scandal that shook Richard Halden's empire to the core. Others say Clara herself broke free, leaving the mansion to start life anew, no longer her father's puppet. Either way, the lie could not last forever, for darkness never truly hides the light. So, dear audience, let this story linger with you. Wealth can build walls. Money can buy silence. But truth always finds a voice. Sometimes from the most unexpected place, like a maid, holding nothing but courage in her hands. If you stayed with me through this journey, thank you. And if you are still that one subscriber, you've just witnessed the secret life of a millionaire's daughter. For those new here, subscribe, share, and join me again for stories that reveal the hidden truths behind closed doors.